Oh no, my chairlift is stuck.
I don't know why I had a thought in my mind that was gonna say Matt's gonna do like a stupid chairlift broken joke or something. In my mind. And the first thing
I'm
you
glad
did,
you know me that well.
I just had it in my mind. I was like, he's gonna do something about a chairlift. I'm glad you didn't fail me, Matt.
You're welcome. Welcome back to North American Scum, the podcast where we discuss our unimportant opinions on important and unimportant albums.
Yes, sir.
Today's album, this week's album, is something.
It's something by Chairlift. Indie pop outfit Chairlift. Aaron Fenning, I think that's how you say his name. Caroline Polachek, the latter of which is one of my favorite voices in pop music ever. Just in general. Yeah. Her debut solo album, Pang, in 2019, was my second favorite album of that year, and it encouraged me to go check out the rest of her stuff, including with this band. And why their second album? I don't know. Just because I haven't, honestly, just because I haven't gotten around to the first one. And their third album will finally get an episode in the future, their final album, because they are broken up. They are no longer a band. But I just think they're a great indie pop band with a good chunk of personality. I wanted something easy. This album's going to be easy for at least this week, considering what's probably coming up soon. And yeah, that's it. This is going to be a simple episode.
Now, skipping past the fact that you blew my mind by pointing out that Pang is her debut album somehow.
It's her debut solo album.
Yeah, I mean, still, that's fucking crazy.
Yeah, it's impressive, right? Fucking great solo album, but we'll get to that once in one day in the future because it's one of my favorites of all time for sure. Yeah. Let's start, shall we?
Let's start off with Sidewalk Safari, where Caroline Polachek threatens to run you over for nearly 4 minutes.
What a fucking opener! I mean, then I also feel like the sound of the song matches so well with that theme right there, with the erratic synth line that perfectly represents like her deranged mind as she tries to run you over with a car.
Yeah.
Like, it's awesome. I mean, in general, the song itself it's about revenge. I mean, of course, we already discussed that she's literally going to exact revenge with a vehicle because she can't do anything else. She can't use a bow and arrow. A hired hit will suck. Every other form of killing her, I assume, ex.
But I also like the fact the line, poison seems old-fashioned. So she almost like kind of wants the modern brutalism of running somebody over.
Right.
There's a lot of character in this song.
Yeah, immediately off the bat, of course. So the metaphor, I guess a metaphor, is just sidewalk safari, meaning that she'll literally find them walking along the sidewalk while they're like just chilling throughout the rest of their day. I
want to meet who this song is fucking about, dude.
I couldn't tell.
How do you piss off Caroline Polachek this much?
It's absolutely manic, and it's such a crazy way to introduce the album and the songwriting on this album. Even though nothing is nearly as deranged as this on here, but I still like that.
And the psychotic guitar line that's dancing around her voice during the chorus adds to that little bit of chaos.
I couldn't tell if it was a guitar or a synth. I think it's a synth, but still,
So there's a guitar and a synth.
Okay, I figured it was. Either way, I mean,
they have separate spots that they come in.
Yeah, of course. The rest of the track itself it's speedy, it's new wave, it's an eccentric performance, especially in that chorus as we were talking about. I love how, at times, the synths in the song are kind of pretty. They appear pretty at times. Yeah. The production of it, as well as just being equally strange. And I think this is a fantastic opener to something.
It's a fantastic opener because it's high energy, poppy, and you're getting to hear both the really unique production that they have on this record, along with Caroline Polachek's, to be repetitive, unique voice.
Unique is the simplest way to put it. It's heavenly to me. It's like an angel singing straight to me. I have a crush on her.
Yeah, we've both got a crush on Caroline Polachek. That's just like, here's the thing though. You know how if you ever liked pop punk, you have a crush on Haley Williams.
Uh,
Caroline Polachek is, if you have ever liked pop, you have a crush on Caroline Polachek.
I mean, maybe. I feel like I'm one. Surprisingly enough, I feel like one of the only people who've never had a crush on Haley Williams. Well, I know you
That's
have.
because you don't like pop punk.
That's not true. I did like it in high school, and even then, I still didn't have like a major crush on her. I should have.
You know, it's funny that I say that when I haven't listened to any of the pop punk Paramore records.
I mean, yeah, you love After Laughter still. I mean, she's still very pretty, but still. Anyway, we're getting.
Anyway, this is not a fanboy.
We're getting way off topic.
Podcast. Yeah.
Even if times we do that sort of thing. Whatever. You want to move on?
I mean, we can talk about the really nice outro in Sidewalk Safari, how everything just kind of falls apart at the seams, drags you out with this really nice synth going down the scale, which brings you into Wrong Opinion pretty well.
Yes, I love, and then that long, wild intro to this song with synths and percussion flying around. Like I described it as if I was in an alien manufacturing factory of some sort. Like the drums in the song have an industrial quality, or at least like a metallic quality to them, and glassy synth bells that drive the pre-chorus and the chorus. They just pop in this very weird tone that makes me feel like
okay, that's really
kind of
I'm glad
alien.
you pointed that out. I'm glad you pointed that out because now the intro makes me think of Metroid.
That's a great point.
Yeah, it actually really feels like some Metroid shit. That's cool. And then once Caroline's voice actually comes in, the sound gets really filled out.
It gets
this underlying like pad under everything, I think.
and then it gets stronger in like the groove, the fantastic programmed drums and the bass on the song. And then it kind of gets ethereal-ish, at least a little, when it gets to the swelling pads and strings on the chorus, and especially the bridge.
Yeah.
And then this is where, at this point, Polachek's vocals, they really start to shine here for me. I mean, I love them in Sidewalk Safari, but, oh my god, I love them here so much. I think they're gorgeous.
My favorite vocal performance by her isn't going to be till about halfway through the record, but as of right now, it's amazing.
It's great.
And my favorite thing about this song, though, about Wrong Opinion, is the really heavy, distorted synth bells that dance around the track.
Yeah, for sure. That's the main thing I think about with this song. That and
Same.
I just I love the bass on this song, really.
Yeah, it's nice because the bass is honestly relatively simple. It's just so well executed.
Yeah, I mean, it's inspired me a lot in my own music making. I actually really like, just personally. But the song itself, moving on, is I assumed it's about disagreements between a couple people, the tension that comes with that simple but relatable theme, and that's what a lot of the themes on this album kind of are. Mm-hmm. And there's not. I mean, lyrically, it's written well, but to me personally, it just doesn't stick out too much. It's not the main focal point of this album.
Yeah, to me, the main pull factor for this record is vocals and production.
I think for me, it's really great pop songwriting, for sure.
Yeah.
And this is, I'll tell you this right now, because I was saying I don't have a favorite vocal performance, but ever since I listened to this album for the first time, I had 3 favorites tied together so tightly that any one of them could take the top spot on any other day, and this is one of them for sure. Mm-hmm. And maybe it'll become obvious as you've heard my listening habits, but for sure the next one is "I Belong in Your Arms."
So, I Belong in Your Arms, I had heard this song at least 100 times before I listened to this record because of you.
I love this
and
song.
what's nice is actually I think Aaron shows up in this song as backing vocals where he takes the octave down.
I think he does. I'm not sure. I didn't do enough research into that, but I'm pretty sure he has at least some singing parts on here.
Yeah, this is the only one I could actually funnily enough, later, Caroline Polachek takes an octave down, and I thought that it was Aaron the first time I listened to it.
Yeah, me too. Okay, we'll talk about that when we get to it. But
this, on I Belong in Your Arms, I'm like 99% sure that I know that's a dude's voice.
Yeah.
So I'm 99% sure it's Aaron.
Ah, okay. Well, yeah, this song itself, new wave goodness. You know I love it, man. The heavenly pads, chimes alongside Polachek's soothing voice. Of course, in this one particular, where she's in love, She's confessing her love and dedication to someone special, and just how much of a wave this song is. It works perfectly, I think. And then her melody on the chorus is to die for. I love how energetic and high paced this one is. The chaotic drums that come in the bridge that part really sells it for me.
For me, the melody writing on the chorus being as solid as it is, along with Caroline's Polachek, this song sold itself to me as soon as that chorus finished, and the first thing my brain heard was the most playful, like, guitar riff out of a chorus I've ever heard.
I think that's actually a bass.
Really?
Yeah, it's on the very, very high strings because it's the
That's really cool.
Yeah, guys, I remember watching the music video, and which, by the way, I think they made a version of this song entirely in Japanese. Fun fact.
Okay.
Yeah, just fun fact. It's cool.
All right.
It's actually really cool. Check it out if you get a chance. Anyway, should we move on? I mean, do you have anything else to talk about?
There's not really, like, a lot to pick apart in this song.
No, and this album in general, I feel like at least it's relatively simple.
Here's the thing about, there's always been a very distinct change from Sidewalk Safari and Wrong Opinion to I Belong in Your Arms, where Sidewalk Safari and Wrong Opinion have a lot more darkness in production details, and then this song kind of just throws that out the window and goes in a full bright kind of feeling.
Yeah, which I think it works a little.
I think it works great, especially because Do You See What I See? Sorry, Take It Out on Me.
What?
Okay. Take It Out on Me's main motif that drives the song is literally the first, like, 4 or 5 notes, same rhythm, same intervals, to Do You See What I See, that fucking Christmas carol, and every time I listen to the goddamn song, it ruins it for me.
I don't get it, Matt. I don't get how you get these comparisons where you just hear this thing and you're like, this song is related to this song and completely, not literally related, but like I hear this song that's
this song is a Christmas
50
carol.
miles apart. I don't get it. I mean, if you want to compare...
Well, Don't Take It Out on Me.
Shut up! This song, it's a chill synth pop track with a fucking kick-ass groove, man. The bass on this song, oh my god.
The funk is a good change of pace from the previous songs, just happiness.
Yeah, I mean, it's so fucking groovy that I decided to pick up my bass and learn this song after I was done writing notes. I did learn it a little. It's pretty fun to play, but still, I love. That's one of my favorite parts about this, and on the previous songs, of course. I didn't mention it too much, but yeah, the bass is great on the other songs, whether structural or actually kind of groovy, like on Sidewalk Safari. Her voice is charming on this song, of course, as usual.
I'm gonna be honest. This is the first song that dips a little bit for me. It's not bad at all. I just think part of it, honestly, is the fucking Christmas carol, but besides that, the chorus is usually the only part where I'll actually tune into this song.
Okay. I love this entire thing, and then you may have guessed this is my third favorite, so how am I going to feel about the rest of this album is the question, and maybe you kind of see why I was struggling writing notes earlier.
And here, I don't know how you could find any negative things to say about a song where the synths go just as hard as they do on Ghost Tonight.
That's kind of the issue, though. I don't know. Not the synths, but not that I have anything necessarily negative to say. I have a lot of there are a lot of things I like about the song, and pretty much I'll say off the bat that every single song on this album is great to at least some extent. There's not a bad song on here in my opinion, but I don't know. This song does not stick out to me too much. It falls into the background.
I'm gonna be honest, Ghost Tonight honestly sticks out to me a little bit in the track list.
I don't know.
Especially because this is, funnily enough, usually when a song decides to just do la la la's or whoa whoa whoas as lyrical like stand-ins, I hate it. But for some reason, Caroline's her Polachek again, it's just so good on the chorus that it sticks with me.
I can see where that would stick with you. At least the vocals in this one. I mean, the song itself, it slows down the pace just a little bit more from the previous one. And
It's really good pacing.
I think it's really good pacing, even if it's a little all over the place. Almost, I described it at once almost like a singles album, but maybe it's because the first four, or at least first, like, songs 2, 3, and 4 were singles, I believe. I'm not sure.
I don't
know.
I don't think I could call it a singles album because it feels too deliberate in the pacing.
At one point, I felt like it was. Not.
It's a singles album if it's only the first 4 songs.
Oh yeah, if it's only the first one, it'd be an EP then. But
Yeah.
Ghost Tonight, I'm still not too crazy for. I like the melody here. In fact, that's probably my favorite part about it. But I don't know, the instrumental, besides some cool production stuff, doesn't do too much for me.
All right. Well,
And then lyrically, I'm stumped too. So
yeah, I really don't care about this song lyrically at all.
and I just didn't get it. I mean, that's probably at this point I kind of got a little lazy. I just
Yeah.
with this album, it's so, I don't want to call it in the background, but it is one of those albums that I like to play a lot when I'm just like relaxing.
Yeah, and I would sometimes it was really hard to write notes, and the most that I could really come up with was, "Oh, it's cool as a fire."
No.
Cool as a fire.
No.
Which was the hardest song for me to find notes on.
See, I'm the opposite. I have a lot of stuff to say about Coals of Fire.
Really?
Well, not a lot.
Okay, this might make you mad. Cool as a Fire is actually my least favorite track on the record.
I don't know if it's not gonna. I don't know if it'll make me mad because you know you said like fucking I belong in your arms. It's like this song sucks. I would have killed you, but this track it slows down even more from Ghost Tonight. But I think it's a beautiful slow burn on this one. I love the pads and the combination of the slow moving beat with Polachek's vocals really shining here, and the guitars. You're not gonna get this, but it reminds me of something off a Jolie Cruz album. For your shut up. For your context, think of like the Twin Peaks guitars that appear sometimes,
Okay.
like the stabs of.
Yeah, no, I
chords
know what
that
you're
do-
talking about.
Yeah, there's something like that. But and then I really love the last minute of the track with the enveloping piano chords. It just makes me feel like I'm floating in an open space being sung to sleep, and I think that tone matches well with the lyrics on here, which seem to be about it's Polachek being ridden by, I assume, depressive feelings. She's cold, she wants to feel something, and the metaphor for Cool as a Fire basically being that she's feeling like shit, but she's calm and reluctant to show weakness. And it's sweet. It works with the message, but I could see why you're not as into it.
Yeah, boring.
I mean, at first okay.
I'm gonna be honest, it's not boring. To
It's
me,
not, but
I like slowdowns. I personally am a big fan of slowdowns, especially when their placement in the track list is as good as I think it is here. For some reason, Cool as a Fire just feels like it didn't do enough to me.
there was a point in time for me where I felt that like I would only listen to those first 4 songs and then give up on the rest of the album.
Wow.
But now, okay, that was when I first got into it. But I think I've grown an appreciation for some songs later, but I do have to admit that I still have that feeling that a lot of these songs coming up, with like one exception, like really don't hook me as much, and I just feel like some parts are pretty forgettable at times. It's just I just have to feel that way about this whole album, at least.
I mean, that's fair, but I also know that that is not true at all about Amanaemonesia.
Oh, absolutely not.
Amanaemonesia.
Don't infect me with this shit, Matt. Don't.
I mean, you're the one with dyslexia, so I'm not really doing
That's
anything.
true. I had to retype this song title out 50 times. I tried to search it up. I couldn't find it because I kept spelling it wrong. But it's another sweet synth pop track. Of course, for me, you know that's like one of the hooks for me on this album. It's very poppy. The production on this song is probably, I'd say, the highlight of this album. There are so many moments on this song and the entire album where those distorted synths are thrown around, or those synth bells that come up again. I think the ones in the bridge in particular are very cool.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just one of my favorite ones. There's just a lot of cool production stuff on this song in particular.
Yeah, this is my favorite song on the record. It is my favorite vocal delivery by Mrs. Chairlift. Caroline Polachek, as it were. Mainly just because you get to hear her show off her lower register in this.
Oh yeah, during the bridge.
In backing vocals that backing vocals that dance around her actual like melody line. It's great.
Yeah, and then I mean, just in general, going back to that bridge, that chilly direction at the start of it, where it goes into, followed by those weird synth bells again, and then of course her deeper register, and there's a bunch of cool production stuff surrounding that, and I love it. Lyrically, Amanaemonesia, fucking hell, Amanaemonesia is not a real word, so
nope.
There's a lot of interpretation going on here that I still couldn't decipher. I mean, have I had to pick a take? I don't know. I just stared at the lyrics for a very long time and tried to come up with something. It's about being in a large society or a city where you feel small, I think. I don't know. Like fish in a sea of granite, dangerously surrounded. Something like those gave me an image of that, but I'm not exactly sure if I'm completely honest.
I think it's about chasing the rabbit.
That actually made me think about drugs of some sort too. If not drugs,
so
then
you
just,
know
like,
what's really
chasing
funny?
Excess. Yeah,
Chasing the Rabbit literally just made me think of the Bunny as a Rider music video.
I don't think it has anything to do with that, but I think I feel like it's not the first time that Polachek has referenced Alice in Wonderland. So, I mean, if I'm not wrong, Bunny seems to come up a lot, or at least maybe it's only twice, and to me that's a pattern, which is nothing. Whatever. I do really like Amanaemonesia. I really hope I'm saying that correctly. I just think it's a great rush of synth pop.
Yeah, it's really solid, and the unique twinge you get of her lower register vocals is enough to give it a perfect amount of personality that keeps it sticking in my brain.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah. Met before.
Yay! Okay. Now from now on, not to say that I'm gonna be like less invested, but the rest of this album to me is where I start to feel the forgettableness really kick in.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just unfortunate. I don't know. I feel like it had a really strong start, and if in terms of it being an album, I'm not the biggest fan of it. I feel like they do better on Moth, which comes later, but still. Met Before, rockiest song on the album, prominent distorted guitars during the verses, huge synths filling up the rest of the song in the chorus. Something about this track reminds me of like those 80s pop rock tracks. And I mean, in general, this whole album's had that 80s new wave inspiration to it, at least.
Okay, here's a really weird thing. Met Before feels like it would play on Grand Theft Auto 5's Vinewood Boulevard radio.
Explain that to me. Is that like the 80s radio on the game?
It's the kind of indie pop, indie rock station, and very specifically the guitar sound mixed with the whoa-whoas in the background. It makes me think of that every single time, and for some fucking reason, John Chairlift and Stacy Chairlift here from Chairlift have made me think of GTA 5 with this random ass song.
I've never played GTA 5, so I mean, I know that there's radios in the game where they like while you're driving the car, you just pick a station, which actually, by the way, is a really fucking cool mechanic for a video game, especially. Well, okay. Getting off topic.
Video game podcast.
we are nerds. We're not hiding it. We're nerds. Get used to it. That's what this podcast is. Oh god. But shortest song on the album. It packs a quick punch of energy.
I like how it's short because then I don't have to suffer through it anymore. Go to the next song, Frigid Spring.
I assume you didn't like. Well, I mean, I don't even know how you really feel about Met Before.
I love Met Before. I love Frigid Spring. Honestly, I love both of these tracks to death. I think they're it's weird. They're a conundrum to me because when I look at the track list, the only things that I think of are like Sidewalk Safari, I Belong in Your Arms, and Amanaemonesia, and then when I listen to the track list, I leave it thinking about Amanaemonesia, Met Before, Frigid Spring, and Sidewalk Safari. So like, when I think about the record, these don't pop up, but when I'm listening to it, I'm like, holy shit, these are the best tracks on the record.
Okay. See, this album,
I love them to death.
You're right. This album is a bit weird, at least in terms. I was like, maybe me and Matt would have a similar opinion, where it's like I feel heavier on the front half and on the second part of it. But you at least have some favorites over here.
No, yeah, part. No. I'm honestly pretty spread apart. On the front half and the second half, both have individual highlights for me and individual not high darks.
That's okay. That's at least good for you. I'm glad that you're enjoying this album way more than at least I am, because when I picked this one, I was just like, I like it. I like a lot of the stuff on here, but I haven't heard in a while. So, oops. Mm-hmm. Either way, Frigid Spring has has a little bit of folk influence on this one. At least like the prominent acoustic guitar.
The electric acoustic guitar.
I might be. It's her voice is soft, it's sweet, it's repetitive at this point, me saying that, but I also think the melody is really cute too. But once again, I just don't really care much about this song. It's not bad. It's quite ethereal at times, but it falls into the background for me.
I'm gonna be honest, it's kind of a little sad how much your opinion of this record is turning.
It's not turning. I think it's been solidified. I think...
Really? Like the next song, Turning?
Oh.
Oh my god, I fucking slipped one by you!
Fuck off.
That's amazing! That's the first time I've just literally passed one by you. That's great. Turning is brilliant. It is great and brilliant. Pacing out of Frigid Spring.
Yes, I agree 100% because I like the pacing between the both. They both have similar tone. And I like Turning a lot more than like the previous two. And I don't know. I still really like Turning. I keep saying this like this one's like to me, but honestly I think this one's a little bit higher on the track list because of like I like the pacing on this one.
Dude, we're literally the fucking opposite. Turning is like honestly the lower point for me over here.
Yeah, to me, I don't know, something about this one. It's ghostly, heavenly, gliding synths, Polacek floating between the crevices and the soundscape, and she describes turning into something else when she's in the dark. I'm not sure what it means. My guess,
vampire.
She's vampire. Yeah. She's a fucking vampire.
She is vampire.
I mean, she would make a good vampire, I think. Do you not agree?
Yeah, I mean, I guess we've both got crushes on her, so she got the vampire charm. Is that the way they put it?
I want to suck.
Don't let Caroline Polacek into your house. That's the main message you need to receive from this episode.
She'll run. You don't need to let her in. She'll just run into your house with a car.
She's a fucking. She's car vampire. Instead of letting her into your house, you cannot let Caroline Polacek into your car. She will kill you.
Is a vampire so inept at taking blood that they have to run into someone to kill them to suck their blood after? That's what I get in my head. We are way off topic.
Yeah, we can move on to Guilty as Charged.
Yeah, but I mean, we might as well. Honestly, this is my maybe at least second, third, fourth, one of my least favorite songs on this album. I don't know. That or I just still don't know how to feel about it.
Yeah, no, I kind of agree. I like that you get the distorted, compressed kind of sampled through the track that you'd hear near the start with Sidewalk Safari and Wrong Opinion.
Yeah.
Kind of a snake bites its tail, at least in production and sound. But
yeah, I mean, I do like the percussion coming back for that track. I mean, I really like the drums at the end of the song where it just gets more filtered and distorted as it ends. But I think the pacing has just caught up to me at this point. I think it's
I'm going to be honest. Guilty as Charged should have been thrown in the middle of the track list. I don't think it's good all the way back here at the end. especially because of, those like super compressed brass hits that are in this?
Yeah.
You're kind of getting spiked with action every single time you hear that. And it's weird to finish the record with that. Even though on Spotify the record is finished better. Can we talk about Grown Up Blues, please? Can we break our rule because I like Grown Up Blues?
You can talk about it. It is as far as I know, it is a deluxe track because in the CD
All right.
it's not listed.
It's Matt's Corner. Time for Matt's Corner. Julian, throw up the logo. Matt's Corner.
Matt's Corner.
Right.
Oh shit! Not to do more work. Okay, go ahead.
When you're here, Matt is near. Run away, Matt's Corner. So Grown Up Blues. I think the inclusion of a raw piano track is a really great sound to signal the end of an album with, as opposed to what they did with Guilty as Charged. That on top of there's very interesting production, like little, what's the word, twinges, production little sounds that they throw into Grown Up Blues that is more of a snake bites its tail to the start of the album than Guilty as Charged has, because Grown Up Blues also has the great fucking vocal melodies that those first two songs had too. It's so weird to me that they didn't finish with Grown Up Blues, unless they just hadn't finished this song by the time they put the album out or something. Like, it's weird to me. Grown Up Blues fits so much better as an ending track than Guilty as Charged. So, that's my thoughts. And at 1 minute 50 seconds into Grown Up Blues, there's a static in the left channel that scared me and made me think my headset was breaking. When she says cellophone. But that's it.
Are you done with Matt's Corner?
Uh-huh, we're out of Matt's Corner.
We're out of Matt's Corner. Okay, now I can talk, and now I have to edit the logo now. Maybe I'll make it super shitty. What do you want your logo to be, Matt?
Make it like, like those like letter blocks that you like would stack and play with as a kid. Make it a logo that looks like that. It's just like very childish and add some sort of demonic twinge to it.
I don't know how to do that, man. Fuck it. Maybe I'll just put like a, maybe I'll just put a picture of a dog. I don't know, something funny. Okay. Final thoughts. Chairlift is a band.
Yeah.
That's
mine.
That's my final thoughts.
I was gonna say that, you bitch.
No.
Well, shit. Now I have to actually come up with final thoughts. I'm gonna be honest. This record, a lot of points in this record kind of just made me want to go listen to Pang. But this. Something by Chairlift is it's truly something. I think that it's such a solid 7 to me.
Yeah.
It's not a high 7. It's not a low 7. This is one of the most perfect 7 out of 10 records I've ever listened to, where it has its interesting ideas that it shows to you to make itself unique at least, but it just does not live up to its full potential as it could have.
Yeah, I agree. The personality in this record shows itself off very well, but I think it's not enough of it, like, just a distinct flavor to be interesting the entire time. I think every song here is well made, at least for the most part. I think, as disappointed and, like, as I feel about most of them, I still think there's a lot of really good pop on here that's at least somewhat memorable, especially in the first half. But, yeah, as a whole record, I do feel kind of about it, or if not, just, like, it's in the background for me. But it's still written very well, and of course Caroline still sounds great in every track, and then the production's still great in every track and whatnot, and I like it. 7 out of 10.
Cool.
Okay.
You ready for a 6 out of 10?
No. Oh, okay. What's next week?
So, I remember you telling me, I want to say it was last week or something, when we're talking about how we're getting close to the end of season 2 here.
Yeah.
And you were like, don't pick anything that's going to be like the start of any big trend, like where we have to like do a ton of episodes on it, especially not a record that, usually would make sense to do in 3s, like how Kanye West has his college dropout arc,
Yeah.
Like it would especially be just such a terrible idea
What are you
for
getting
me to
at?
do an equivalent of that.
What are you getting at?
So next week, we're gonna do Pablo Honey.
Pablo fucking Honey. What the fuck? What the fuck?
And
Already?
as you would usually want to do with pacing, reasonably, we would want to do Pablo Honey, Into the Bends, into OK Computer, just for a season, right?
Sure.
Yeah, that makes sense. That just makes sense for good pacing. Here's the thing. I fucking hate you.
What? That's it? That's the only reason why?
So I'm gonna do Pablo Honey right now.
Fine. That's okay. You know what? The more I think about it, that's fine, because Pablo Honey is
Yeah.
Pablo Honey.
Yeah.
There's nothing else to say on that. That's just the
Nope.
answer.
It's
I-
gonna be one of the most Pablo Honey. Forgetting the fact that Radiohead is just one of like the best bands.
Yes.
Pablo Honey is one of the most okay records in existence, and it's gonna be fun to talk about that.
It's fun. It's fun because of the band that has it.
Yeah.
That's why. And we'll talk about, I'm sure we'll talk about a bunch of other stuff that goes along with that. That is pretty fun. Anyway, this is North American Scum. Come back next week. Subscribe for our episode on the amazing Radiohead's Pablo Honey, one of their best records of all time. If you liked any of our content, of course, consider subscribing and or liking or doing whatever you do to support a creator.
Buy
create
merch
towards.
made by t-shirt bots of us on Redbubble. It doesn't
Yes.
support us at all. It, in fact, is just taking money from us, but go ahead and do it anyway.
Yeah, do it.
Go ahead, make your own merch stealing our likenesses. That's totally fine. Disclaimer, that is not totally fine. Bye-bye.
Yeah, whatever. Good night, guys.